Alberto Paratori.
Aziz Hassan.
Norma Drummond?
Rocco Limatone.
Good, thank you. Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, there's one change to the agenda in that item number 8 is postponed until our November meeting, so there will be no number 8. But otherwise, everything else is as is. Our next two meetings are going to be Tuesday, November 22nd, and depending upon what the agenda looks like, we're going to see if we can do without a meeting on December 27th, since it is, that week after just 2 days after Christmas, but we'll see. We do have one set of minutes to approve, the minutes from our meeting of September 27th. I know they were circulating with suggested changes, so is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. All right, so folks, on our agenda, the way we operate, especially for those of you who have never been here before, is we have to start, we have one item on our agenda that we've already reviewed, had a public hearing, and we just have to make a decision about how to move forward or how to proceed with this one. And then we will hold public hearings. Those are applications that this board has already had an opportunity to review. And then, this is our opportunity to hear from neighbors if you have any concerns about any of those applications. Because as neighbors, we know you would know those properties better than we would. And then the last is the reviews, and those are really the first time we're seeing many of the applications. Sometimes we reviewed it before, we needed some updated information, like a new survey or something, and so folks had to come back. But that's really how we operate, so we're going to start with item number 1, which is Appeal 4035, Michael Curcio, 33 Cherry Lane, Stormville, requesting a 22-foot sideline variance to allow a proposed 20-foot by 24-foot or 480 square foot addition to a pre-existing non-conforming detached garage, a 24-foot sideline and a 20-foot front yard variance to allow an existing 23-foot by 24-foot or 552 square foot pre-existing non-conforming garage, and a 282 square foot area variance for a proposed 1,032 square foot detached garage pursuant to section 194-107 and the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. So again, this is one where we've had an opportunity to review it, had a public hearing, there were a couple of letters in support of this by the neighbors. I know I went out and did a site visit. I have expressed my concerns about this one in that the size that is being proposed with a 1,032 square foot garage is essentially the size of a house, and it's one car length away in from the road. So, and the applicant, in my opinion, has other options. But that said, there is a resolution, so if any board member wishes to offer the resolution.
This is appeal number 4035. Applicant is Michael Curcio, requesting a 22-feet sideline variance from the requirements of the schedule of bulk regulations to allow a proposed 20 feet by 24-foot, 480 square foot addition to pre-existing non-conforming detached garage, to a 24-feet sideline variance and a 20-foot front yard variance from the schedule of bulk regulations to allow an existing 23 feet by 24 feet, 552 square foot pre-existing non-conforming garage, and a 282 square foot area variance from the requirements of section 194-107 for a proposed 1,032 square foot detached garage, and in parentheses, the variances. Resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Hassan, whereas detached garages are not permitted in the front yard per the town code, and whereas there is currently a pre-existing non-conforming detached garage in the applicant's front yard that was built before zoning was adopted by the town, and whereas the applicant has poised that there are other properties in the area with pre-existing non-conforming garages, and whereas the applicant has proposed expanding the garage and also completing aesthetic improvements, and whereas there is currently minimal vegetation screening, but the applicant has agreed to plant additional evergreen trees, and whereas Throughout the process, the applicant shrank the height and width of the building to try to address comments from the board, and whereas this is a type 2 action under seeker and no further review is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 19, 2022, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on September 27, 2022, and whereas also on September 27, 2022, the ZBA closed the public hearing and reserves its decision, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeal finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, since the detached garage was pre-existing and will see physical improvements and will not be used for a business, and there are other detached garages and front yards in the neighborhood. The desired result can be achieved by other means, as there is room in the property for the relocation of the garage. However, that was identified as being cost prohibitive. The variances could be deemed substantial. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request from Michael Curcio for 1, a 22-feet sideline variance from the requirements of the Schedule of Bulk Regulations to allow a proposed 20 feet by 24 foot, 480 square feet addition to a pre-existing non-conforming detached garage, and 2, a 24-foot sideline variance and a 20-feet front yard variance from the Schedule of Bulk Regulations to allow an existing 23 feet by 24 feet, 552 square foot pre-existing non-conforming garage, and 3, a 282 square foot variance from the requirement of Section 194-107 for a proposed 1,032 square foot detached garage. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or the duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Aziz.
Aye.
Rocco.
Aye.
And Alberto. Aye. And myself, no. So, but your motion carries, so you're all set. Now you'll deal with the building department. Okay. All right, so that was our only decision. So now we're going to go into public hearings. Item number 2 is Appeal 4041, Fausto Gonzalez, 7 Angela Court, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 14-foot rear line variance for an existing 14-foot by 14-foot or 196 square foot pavilion pursuant to the Schedule of Bulk Regulations and zoning ordinance. Mr. Gonzalez? Okay. So do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we did see this application last week, last month, we did review it. This is a very weird lot, it's a triangular shaped lot, so really the ability to do much of anything in your backyard is very limited. The patio is fine, our sense probably is that when your contractor, or when you guys were thinking you could put up the gazebo, you were thinking you only had to meet the requirements of the patio, which is only 15 feet, not the 25 feet, so. But again, given the triangular shape of your lot, it really limited your ability to do much of anything back there, so. I don't believe we had any other concerns that were addressed by the group last month, but any questions or comments from board members?
We got a couple of letters, I think.
Are there letters?
I think like 3, I think.
Jackie? Oh. Thank you. Were there letters? Okay. All right, so since the public hearing is open, I'll read these into the record. So number 1 is dated October 13th, 2022. Since moving into the neighborhood several years ago, Fausto and Nicole Gonzalez have addressed several areas to improve their landscaping and the visual appeal of their home from our road. In their backyard, they've created a beautiful area, including a pool and pavilion. Also, over these years, they have proved to be good neighbors in our small neighborhood of 10 homes. Therefore, I submit that you approve their rear line variance. And this is coming from Sunny Jacobs. they don't, oh, 1 Angela Court.
That would be the house directly next to them.
Good, thank you. Second one is from Doug McHale, 8 Angela Court, again, October 13th. Actually, it looks like it is the
Same
same
letter.
letter.
Yeah.
Third one is the same letter, so I don't need to read the letter again. And so the third one comes from Samantha, I hate to pronounce names wrong, but I'm going to try, Vincenanza, at 14 Angela Court. So you have 3 letters in support of the request. Thank you, Aziz. So any other comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Fausto Gonzalez, 7 Angela Court, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 14-foot rear line variance for an existing 14-foot by 14-foot pavilion? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
I'm being told to move the microphone closer. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay,
Got to take my cues from everywhere.
It's appeal number 4041. The applicant is Fausto Gonzalez. The project is a 14-foot rear line variance from the scheduled bulk regulations for an existing 14 feet by 14 feet, total 190 square foot pavilion. This is located at 7 Angela Court in Hopewell Junction. Resolution is being offered by zoning board member Rocco Limatone. Whereas the applicant has a uniquely configured triangular lot which impacts the layout of the house, and whereas the applicant previously installed a pavilion, and whereas the applicant intends to leave the pavilion in the same place as it has been, and whereas this is a Type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public meeting on October 25, 2022, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 19th of 2022, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, since the property will remain residential in nature. The desired result can be achieved by other means due to the configuration of the property. Should that be can't? The variance could be
That should
deemed...
be can't,
That should be can't, correct.
given the configuration of the property, correct?
I will correct that. The desired result cannot be achieved by other means due to configuration of the property. The variance could be deemed substantial, but the pavilion is placed in the most logical location on the property. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request for Fausto Gonzalez for a 14-foot rear line variance from the schedule of bulk regulations for an existing 14 feet by 14 feet total 190 square foot pavilion. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
second.
Thank you. Votes as follows: Aziz?
Aye.
Rocco?
Aye.
Aye.
Al? Thank you.
Aye.
And myself, aye. So your motion carries, you're all set. Okay, now you're just dealing with the building department.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Congratulations.
All right, item number 3. We have a public hearing, Appeal 4042 from Michael O'Halloran, 11 Laurie Street, Poughkeepsie, is requesting to build on an undersized lot of approximately 0.86 of an acre in an R1 zone on Birch Drive pursuant to Section 194-130 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so, Mr. O'Halloran, you've been here before. We've had an opportunity to talk through this. What we found out is that there was a property owner who owned multiple lots in this area, merged them together earlier this year. these lots themselves were created probably before zoning came into play. So zoning was adopted in this town in 1963, so these small lots have been around for a while. And there are other like small lots, undersized lots in this neighborhood, so this is not unusual. What we needed, though, was an updated survey from you, and what we needed that survey to show was the actual buildable area. So we need to make sure that you know, if you're going to buy this lot, that what size of a house you can build, what you can build on here, because if it's an undersized lot, you're supposed to meet all the requirements, and we're not supposed to be really giving a variance on anything else. So have you already picked out a house that's going to get built here?
Not yet.
Okay, all right, so, because I understand in our packet is this new survey?
Yes.
We just got the new
Yeah,
survey?
the engineered building plans that had to be sent to the Board of Health, because the property's not Board of Health approved, so when he made those building plans, I sent a copy of that over
Okay.
to Jackie.
Okay, so that's probably what's on here? God, I can't see that.
And they already responded back. They have like probably 8 or 9 revisions from Tanya at Board of Health in Beacon that she sent back to Poval Engineering.
Okay,
But
okay, so what were we concerned about, that the proposed house was,
It was going to need a front line and rear yard variance per the most recent plan.
but again, if there's a buildable area and he just works within the buildable area,
That's fine then, right?
Right.
yeah.
So he was well aware, when I came back, Jackie was nice enough to tell me what you were just saying, and I sent that to Bill Poval, and he said he was well aware that it would need a front and back variance, and as we go about picking out the house and the size of the house under the buildable area, that he would work with that front and back and make sure that he was doing it the right way, or get the next variance that would be needed for it, is how he kind of said it to me.
Okay, that's not really how we do things.
Right, so if you're going to want a variance for the front yard or backyard, you'd have to apply for it now, and generally the board doesn't give variances for undersized lots beyond the size of the lot itself.
That's
Okay.
why we were asking, do you understand the buildable area limits the size of the house you will be able to build on this lot?
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're here once.
I understand what you're saying.
Environmental review requires that we have to look at all components of this, and so we really should be, and you should be understanding what house or what your buildable area, what you can build on this property. Because we don't want to be dealing with segmentation where we're doing an environmental review now and then doing one 3 months from now because you decided, oh, you wanted a bigger house. that
Okay.
sort of thing. So, I mean, one other time that I can think of where we granted for a lot that had, remember the one that had all those front yards to it? And then they ended up coming back because the builder didn't tell the people who bought the house that the limitations of the buildable area.
Right, so maybe I misspoke on that. He's well aware of what the building plans need to
Okay.
be and what the size of the house will have to be.
All right, because that's what I don't have a concern with the fact that the lots have been put together, and,
Right.
you know, you've now got essentially almost an acre, 8.86 of an acre, you're
Okay.
close enough. But you have to stay within the buildable area.
Okay,
Again, one of my concern on the other house that the chair talked about, and including this property, my expectation was that I was going to get a plot map of the buildable area that you were looking to build on, and that's what I was going to use as a reason for this.
That's what he's given us. There is a proposed house here.
Is that the one that is kind of
And that's
faded?
why I was saying, this actually needs if he builds this house, this proposed house, he'd need a variance for front yard and backyard. That's why we're saying he's got to build a smaller house than what's on here.
Right, that's what we talked about in the last meeting.
Okay, but again,
So he's showing the buildable area, and he's showing the proposed, that the engineer put a proposed house on here, I guess just to be able to get Board of Health approval, to start the discussion with
Right.
Board of Health.
so you're going to leave,
That is
you're going to
correct.
keep,
But that's,
the
he's,
footprint is going to be limited to that you have
Buildable
taken,
area.
to that buildable area that you have taken to the Board of Health and this one, because it is like, it's kind of shaded, so it's not very clear.
Well, it's very, it's
Which one?
tiny.
Which one are you
This
looking?
says proposed house.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, it has a basement and it's like 240 square foot. The garage and the basement, 240 depth. First floor, 250 depth. Is that what I'm,
Okay. Even with my glasses, I can't read it. It's that
I
tiny.
propose? So again, if these are the depths that you're looking for, and you don't need any other variances in the front and back, then I might, be okay with it. Because I thought I was gonna get, because this is gonna be just a very small house, and if that's what you're looking for, because the septic fields are pretty,
Right?
yeah, pretty big. It's like I don't know, at least,
Do you see this dotted area? This is his buildable area.
is that what it is? No,
So he can build a long skinny house.
is that what you're looking for?
That's our-
Long ceiling?
Essentially, I mean, my engineer is going to stay within the building plan, so, I mean, that's what we have to do, right? So we'll have to figure it out
It's
from
gonna be
there.
just long,
That's what he can build. It's not necessarily what he is going to build, but that's his buildable area. So if he wants to put a shed up, if he wants to do anything on the property, it's got to be within that buildable area.
yeah, I would suggest that
Buyer
you,
beware.
yeah, I would suggest that I would go back to your expert and sit down and say, tell me the buildable area, because once we approve it and it becomes part of the record, then we are in public hearing right now, so that's what you'll be limited to. So if you want any,
Can anybody read those numbers on it? How deep is this house, is the buildable area? It's so hard to read.
yeah, it's,
The minimum lot depth, and he's short on that too, at 125 feet.
Minimum lot depth
And
is.
so the required is 150 and proposed is 125.
okay, see, those are the issues that you're going to be stuck with if you go forward. So I would suggest you talk to your expert and then come back next month saying, okay, this is what my house is going to look like, or this is my footprint that I'm working with.
Yeah, so hold on one second. So how deep is this, front to back, how deep of a house can he have?
Oh, front to back.
I mean, that would include stairs outside, the overhangs, everything. I just want to make sure he understands what this is.
I can't tell from this.
I can't read it. It's just,
I mean, it's very,
is it a magnifying glass?
no, I mean, I can read the numbers with my glasses, but,
So you can read this buildable area, the dotted area. Can you
yeah,
read the
but
front?
that is like a long skinny house.
I know, so that's what I want to see. How deep is it, though?
Or the depth might be,
Here to here.
Yeah, I can't see that.
I can't see this.
I mean, I can't, I'm looking for some numbers that might help me, but,
This is useless, honestly. And then the second page is all about the soil, so this is obviously what
Yeah.
went to the Department of Health.
I think I would suggest come back. If you really are serious about this property, come back, have a fully understanding of the buildable area.
What can he do to these plans by next month that would change?
Well, no, for you
It's
to
saying
understand.
It shows where I can build. What more do you want me to do?
Right,
for-
I
in the
agree
up-
with you.
I agree.
You're showing the buildable area. We can't read these numbers, though, so we can't even tell you how deep of a house you can have.
You're going to have long skinny house, maybe 10, 15.
Long skinny house, I know, I got it. Thank
So,
you.
but if that you're happy,
I think it's more than 10 or 15 feet. That's why I want to be.
Whatever it is.
I was
Make
gonna
sure
say
he
that.
knows what it is.
okay. But what I'm saying is that this, we're just guessing right now because it has these proposed house, the.
So do you
first
want me to bring like a bigger blow-up of this
No.
survey so we can read it? Is that-
What your house is going to, what is the footprint of the buildable area that you plan to use? I mean, that will not need any more
Let's see
variation.
if Jackie has the original plan. Did she go to get that? Okay, if she has the original plan and not just these shrunk versions of it, then Maybe we can just read it from the plan.
I mean, we're just guessing because of the dotted lines that this is the buildable area, but he has the proposed house
Well, it says.
depth. No, it says proposed building setback.
Yeah, so that's the setback, that's the buildable area. This is the setback from each of the yards.
Okay,
That's
mean,
the
if that's
buildable
what you-
area.
okay, fine. I mean, then this dotted line is the setbacks, and so you can move it left or right, and then but then you got the fields. So how are you going to put the fields on the other side? I mean, yeah, the fields have to,
You're trying to read?
the leach fields have
See
to,
this to this, what's the,
He's saying he'll just comply.
oh, look at that.
Yeah?
Yeah, what's the distance, the here to here?
I don't think it says. Proposed house.
You have a larger balloon?
250, 240.
Oh. Yeah, I like his phone idea better. Hold on, go ahead.
Where are we going? Where do you want to go?
between
And
those
we're
two.
looking here to here. Do we see any measurement here to here?
We want to go this way, right? Yeah.
Right.
234.
Yeah, but that's an outside line. That's not here to here. That's a bigger.
It's a bigger area, yeah. So from here to here, it looks like.
And I
that's
don't,
part of
and
this
honestly, I don't know if that's an elevation as opposed to I can't imagine it's 200
Minimum
feet.
indoor 240.
Because look and see how the first floor elevation is 230 versus basement elevation is 241.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I think
that's-
that might be an elevation.
Elevation, you're right, it's elevation.
Yeah, I don't think that's the depth of the lot.
No,
We're
I
looking
was-
just at the dotted lines, right?
Yeah, I think that's a contour. I think that's what the 240 is
Yeah,
here.
contours, correct.
So yeah, the depth of this
That
this
240,
line, what
yeah.
is
The lot depth is 125.
the lot depth is 125, so, and then so if he's showing,
Needs 150.
so he's showing, but the front yard is 50 and the rear yard is 50? So then that leaves us a 25-foot wide house.
That's what it looks like.
It's not impossible.
I think that's what we said last month. We were actually,
Not impossible. You don't have the full-size plan?
Okay, it was just a suggestion, if you want to go forward.
Yeah, so the whole, if I'm, like, I was wondering about the acre variance, right? That's why I was coming here. If we like agree to that, or I don't know the wording for it, but if that's approved, what would that have to do with knowing what my house needs to look like right now and other variances and stuff, right? Does one connect with the next, or am I just here to know if I can build on my property
What the
that's
code
less than an
says,
acre?
okay, for the undersized lots, is you should not need any other variances, even though you're conglomerating together lots.
Okay.
Okay, and it's an undersized lot. You should not need any other variances, though.
So once you would approve
That it is
building on under
undersized
an
lot.
acre, I should not be asking for any more
shouldn't do that.
variances after that.
And so that's why we want to be sure that you're very clear that you're not likely to get any other variances. So you're going to be very limited with what you will be able to build on this lot.
Okay, so say tonight got approved to build on an acre,
On the .860?
on the .86, that would be like, if my engineer came up with plans later on and needed something else, you're telling me that would not happen?
Not likely.
Okay,
New construction, you have options.
okay,
You can't come to us and say,
No, I
I don't have
understand.
anywhere else to put it.
okay,
That's why we want to be really clear with you that you know what you're looking to buy here.
okay,
that's
Okay?
why we had the pinpoint of the buildable area,
Right.
because that's the area.
right.
So let's say you built on that area and you say, I want to put a shed in. What the chair is saying, you can't come back to us. It's highly unlikely if you came back to us asking for a shed.
That would be approved on top of the original variance?
Correct.
I understand.
The original variance was approved as a variance.
So the building plans that my engineer have there right now, would those need additional variances, the way the plan is
Yes,
set
There's
up?
at
yes,
least,
the way you
there's at
laid it
least
out,
one.
yes.
The way it's laid out right now, it would need
Yes.
the front and back
Yes.
variance? Okay,
And the
And the size of the
depth of the
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
okay. And a front and back would be out of the question after being approved for the building on an acre?
It's less,
Especially after this plan's shown now, because I think what the board's saying is, if you want to, you're probably not even that likely to get the rear and front yard variance, but if you really want to go for it, you got to go for it now. Because if you want to come back later on and try to get a front and backyard variance, it's not going to be looked upon favorably by the board.
Yeah, because we're going to say to you, but we made sure you knew that these were your
You're right.
limitations.
You're gonna remind me that we were having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
So it's better to try and go about this all at once?
Correct.
Like where I'm
And-
looking for the acre, the front, the back, all together? Sorry.
Yes.
And that's why Aziz is suggesting that
Right.
maybe you want to come back after you've had another conversation with your engineer to be sure what you can.
That's fine, that's fine.
What does a 25-foot deep house look like? Because that 25 feet, a typical garage is 24 by 24. So if you want a two-bay garage in there,
Mm-hmm.
you got no extra room there. Because the overhangs on their garage, unless they're coming the other way, are count in that 25 feet.
Okay, so then I'll wait till next month. I'll speak with my,
I
yeah, I'll
think
speak with
it's
the
in
engineer. No, I
your-
appreciate all the advice. I appreciate it.
Like, you've got a buildable area, that's
Yeah.
the good thing. And
Well, I
I've seen
mean,
long skinny houses that
I
are
feel like I'm
perfectly fine,
comprehending
but
what you guys are all saying now, which
Yeah.
last month who knows?
It's just,
So,
we shouldn't, segmentation says that anything that's likely to happen on this property in the next 5 years, we should be looking at it now.
okay.
All right?
That's good advice, okay.
We, as a board, have to be careful of any action we take because we don't want to violate.
So we want to try and do this all at once, everything that I would be asking for. Okay, cool.
I'm just trying to be 100% clear so that you know everything.
Gotcha, maybe I'll ask if he can come with
Yeah.
me to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And tell him next time to give us plans that.
Yeah, no
we-
problem. Yep, you got it.
Wow, I mean, even with my readers, I can't read it. All
At
right,
18, we can't read that small writing.
Yeah,
we do have an open
especially
public
in a
hearing.
long skinny house. Yeah.
So Mr. O'Halloran, let's just be clear, is there any neighbor here for this property that may want, that I don't want to have to make you come back, so is there any neighbor that wishes to speak regarding this application? Okay, so do I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to next month's meeting?
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Thank you, thanks for the advice, I
next
appreciate it.
no problem. All right, item number 4, Appeal 4045, Sabato Vivenzio, 6 Americana Boulevard, Hopewell is requesting a 10-foot sideline and a 34-foot rear line variance for a 24-foot by 30-foot or 720-square-foot detached garage pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we did have the opportunity to review this last month with you. You have an existing garage, but what you told us is that it's only 7 feet high, so it limits your ability to put, your
Yeah.
truck and other stuff in there.
Yes.
You also said you were looking for additional storage.
Yes.
But what you were proposing was a garage that was, you said was going to be maybe 18 or 19 foot tall?
I double-checked the thing, it's gonna be 22 feet.
Okay, wait, you want it even taller? We were concerned about the 18 and 19 feet.
I thought you could go to 25 feet. is
Okay,
the-
so
the
but the
variance.
second piece of it was, we talked about the fact that you're off, if you actually shifted over, you have about 10 feet between your house and where you were proposing this
At
to
about
be?
I got some pictures, you could really see,
Okay.
it's like only like 4 feet between there and the fence.
No,
See,
that's
I
not what
think-
we're worrying about. We're trying to see if we could move it closer to the house to reduce the variance.
Right, I only had like 4 feet between.
And so you actually said you could move it a little, you thought you might be able to move it when we met with you last month. So that's why we needed to see what
Got
were
some
you...
picture, I show you, I staked it out and stuff like that, so you could see exactly where it is.
So tell us what's going on.
Was that?
Tell us, come on up, tell us what's going on.
I have 3 copies of it. That's the front is what the garage is gonna look like.
Thought you were leaving me out.
Oh, yeah, this is the one where we said, we talked about the fact that you had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, if we need you to go back to the microphone, please. So you've staked it out for us.
Yes, I mean, Matt was there, he's seen it.
All right, so what you're proposing, though, is the 30 feet
Right.
is the side to side, the width of it, okay? As opposed to the front to back. So it makes it, the structure itself even more visible, because you're now looking at 30 feet instead of just the, what's the other direction?
24.
24. So, but you're doing it that way so that you can have the dormers.
See it, right, so you can see it from the front.
Because if you do it the other way, if you do the 30 feet deep, it still gives you your storage. It's just not storage on the sides, it's storage in the back. Yeah,
But have to change everything around.
yeah, and then
Not just that, that would get me closer to the back lot anyway, wouldn't it?
it would, the whole thing would
I'd be
be,
closer to the back.
you'd be closer to the back lot, but you'd be further away from your neighbor.
Well, I got a neighbor in
The
the back.
30
I
feet.
got another neighbor in the back, and I got a neighbor on the side.
Right, but how far are you from your backyard? You gotta be at least 50 feet. Oh, he's got the 34-foot rear line variance.
Right.
Okay, explain why you need the second story.
It's just for looks, basically.
You need 22 feet for looks?
What do you mean, the height?
Yeah,
It's just to put the two dormers on top. And if I could get that look without putting the dormers, I don't mind that. It's cheaper.
yeah. But you were looking to have, having it so tall is gonna give you a second story, or are you gonna have some kind of lift inside the garage? Why are you, the height, what's the additional height for?
You mean, that's just for the dormers on top?
So there's no second actual floor up there?
There is.
Oh, is there gonna be stairs to get up there, or there's?
Yes. But in order to put the dormers up there, you would need a floor. You would need the extra height.
Comments or questions from board members? This is... have you spoken with any of your neighbors about this?
This one.
Oh. Questions from board members? Otherwise, I'll ask for public comment.
I'm just reviewing it right now. Yeah, you can go to the public.
All right. So is there anyone, I'm going to ask you to sit down. Is there anyone here to speak for or against the request from Sabato Vivenzio, 6 Americana Boulevard, requesting a 10-foot side yard, sideline, and a 34-foot rear line variance for a 24-foot by 30-foot garage? Good evening. Do we have a board where people sign in? Oh, okay, good, thank you.
My name is Joe Douglas. I live at 6 Pinewood Road, 31 years here in the town. Our house is directly behind the
Okay.
proposed structure.
Okay.
Before I begin, I have some pictures, some aerial pictures. I think that might be helpful for you.
Give it to the chair.
Thank you. You took this with a drone, or?
Yes, I'm a licensed pilot.
All right, go ahead, we'll circulate the
So a
voice.
couple of concerns that I have. Obviously, the first is the variance. We know it's 50 feet. I think I was in the town yesterday taking a look at some new plans that were submitted. They had 15 feet, and the plans I had is 16.4. It's extremely close to the back of our house. If you see where our pool is, this is going to be very visible to us. The other concern is just the physical size. I mean, it's 30 by 24. But just to give you a sense, my first house was 13 square feet, 1,300 square feet, I'm sorry. So this one here is 720, but then you've got to add the second story. So you're talking about 1,080 square feet. that's really one level of my home right now, and it's very large. And it's being that close to the back of the house, my house, it's concerning. Something that I'm concerned about. I don't believe it's going to be something right now, but it happens. It happens to everybody. The back of that garage becomes a drop zone. Tires, boards, windows, whatever it is. The things that you don't want to see
Right.
go behind the garage. So there's a concern. Drainage, I'm not an engineer. I don't know if there's going to create any problems with regards to the water table that's back there, but behind our homes, that whole area is wetlands. And I've had, rains where that water could potentially come up, a good 4, 5, 6 feet past the fence. And so I don't know whether this structure, again, I'm not an engineer, whether or not this placement will displace any water or create any drainage problems coming onto our property. The other is, and again, this is, no reflection of Mr. Vivenzio, excuse me. But, there's no assurance that it can't become a residence at some point, a loft apartment, being so high. And I know I saw some of the building plans here in the town. So yeah, that is certainly a concern that, over the years, these things can and do sometimes become, could be like a small apartment someplace.
Accessory apartment, right.
Right? So the fact that it's 23 feet high, it kind of, just so tall that it's something that, we've enjoyed 31 years, park setting in the back of the house. And although our neighbors are doing a really, really nice job of making improvements on the home, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't really think it was going to really take away from, us and our property. I wouldn't be here, so.
Okay, thank you.
Do you need me to?
Thank you for the photographs.
You could just, if you could just sign in would be helpful. Can we put these photographs in the record here? The photographs that you've given to us, can we keep them in the file? Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak? All right. So, Mr. Vivenzio, you've heard your neighbor, you've heard our... Yeah, come on back up, sorry. I guess we need to have the discussion again about why you still need this, why you're proposing this size, or whether you think you should be asking for something a little smaller. Again, you're bringing it back to your rear yard. You're going back awfully far, because you're going to be within 16 feet of of your neighbor's property.
Yeah, just the one corner, but the way the lot goes, like one side is 16 feet, the other side is like 33, 34 feet.
Okay.
The lot is just angled. You do have a survey? You can see it over there.
I got to pull it out.
Yeah.
What is the height? 26 feet is the height?
22.
20?
22 feet is the high.
I read on the thing, you could go as high as 25 feet in my area. I'm only going 22. Like I said, the only reason why I'm doing that is because of the way the garage looks. I don't need the storage, it's not going to be no apartment up there. It's only like 300 square feet, not even.
Please understand, one of the things that this board has to consider
Yes.
is that you're telling us there's not going to be an apartment upstairs, but some future owner of this property could say, oh, look at this, and that's what we have to worry about.
Well, that's my,
So-
the home that I'm going to stay there, so I'm not worried about it.
Is there going to be electric in here?
Yeah.
Electric?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want any kind
My
of garage
garage.
door opener,
Like I said, I'm going to put a little shop there. 62, I'm going to retire, so at least have some room there.
And was this going to be aluminum siding, vinyl siding?
It's a cement board, matches my house. I don't know if you see my house.
Looking at the photographs, I see that you can bring the proposed 1.5-story garage closer to the blacktop, closer to your house, away from your neighbor's swimming pool area. I think there's enough room.
That's what we talked about last month.
Yeah, but like if you...
That it's so far back, but this ends here. He
Yeah, but
said
I
there's
don't
a
know if you guys
gravel
are looking-
area.
There's been an addition on there, done. You see the proposed addition that's been done? So once you put that in there, I'm not gonna...
I'm looking at... no.
Shouldn't impact your ability to move this forward. Do you want to see what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Come on up.
I'm looking at this photograph. See this photograph, the aerial photograph? It shows this, these are your stakes. This is your red tape.
Right,
And
right.
we're talking about bringing the thing closer here.
Like I said, I'm lining up exactly with the deck. So
Which is-
coming down the
no, the-
thing, I
you
can
can-
move it up just a little bit.
I mean, you can move it quite a bit because up to the...
Okay, but that's not what this survey is showing. You see, you're,
Right here's the addition.
okay,
And then the stairs are going up to here, and then there's a sidewalk over here.
okay, but if you're telling us that it's gonna, the way you've put the stakes out, it's lining up with the back of the deck, so this way that it should be right here. That's moving it up significantly.
Right now, it's right up to here.
Here it says proposed addition.
Yeah, but now the deck comes up to here.
So the deck is
stairs.
here. Okay, so the deck is here.
But the deck is right, you can see the deck up here.
So if the deck is here, that's still several feet closer in than what you had your surveyor put on this
That's
survey.
true.
So if we can move it further away from your neighbor, it's going to be better for you.
And it's closer, it's going to be closer to the blacktop.
There's my deck. There's a stairs
Understood.
going down,
Okay.
straight down.
So hold on, so let's transpose that to right here. Here's the stairs, right? You said this is the end of the deck. So if I move this up, draw the line straight across, right?
Where would you want me to put the thing? Up
So
here?
why isn't this line here?
I don't know, mine is there.
But this is what you told the surveyor it's going to go. So if it's actually going to be here,
It's going to be here, actually, yeah. It's going to be moved up more. Like I said, this is the
so then
the
it's,
minimum.
you'd need less of a variance.
Yes, I do. I'll probably
That's
do.
what we talked about last month, and you were going
I'd
to,
rather Go a little bit extra, so when you,
not when you have other options. We can't approve it when you have other options. If we can minimize the variance, we need to minimize the variance.
have to get the survey to come do it
You
again.
should get an update on this to show what you actually need. It's either that or you shrink the size of it, because you're hearing your neighbor is concerned about the size of it. You're hearing us, our concerns about the size of it. So you have options. That's what we're telling you.
No options.
Yeah, if you intended to move it closer to the house anyway, put that on the plan.
Yeah, like I said, the survey, when he did this, it was like done in 2017.
I mean, I know what you're saying. You're saying,
This was, when I did my addition, I said, sooner, I'm gonna put a garage, so he put it right here. Now, I staked it out, and it's lining up further. So these numbers probably are gonna be bigger.
So you need less of a variance. It's less impactful to your neighbor. Your neighbor should know that. He might be
Well,
more in support
he can-
if it's less of a, but I don't know what this distance is. I can't tell on this survey what the different
Yeah,
distance
so
is.
my suggestion would be, if you can go back to the podium.
Because,
yeah.
can I just say something? If
Okay.
this is 15 feet here,
The 15
this,
feet is,
hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
If this is 15 feet, I don't know if that's if that might be to here, actually. If that's 15 feet, then this is at least half of that. So 8 feet, and so instead of being 16 feet away from him, you're now 24 feet away from your neighbor.
because if you look from here to here, I showed my neighbor the other day, it's basically, it is further, I moved it further that way.
Okay, again, my suggestion would be to talk to your neighbor, talk to your engineer. This is yeah, because this is, I just realized that it's a 5-year-old survey. I just need a new survey. 'cause it's-
just show us the spot.
That
where you exactly
accurately
left it.
reflects
Like I
where you
said, I
want it
staked
to
it out,
be.
that's why I measured it out.
Right, and that's a good idea, to stake out, this way your neighbor can see it, everyone can see
Yes.
exactly where it's going to
Right.
be.
Like I said, I can go over there with the tape measure, go.
So what you have it staked out is not what it represents on there.
100%, that's why I took the pictures. Like I said, he did it 5 years ago.
We need you to go
Just
back to the
have, just
microphone.
have them redo that.
Gotcha, okay, no problem.
Okay, so, we're all clear?
Got it,
You're gonna
okay.
go back to your surveyor, have him actually
Okay.
show on the plans.
I'll leave
the
my stakes there and
proposed-
let them come over here and measure it out, just the way it is.
Okay,
Sounds good.
all right, we'll see you
Sounds
next.
like a plan.
Hold on, I need to close the public hearing. So is there anybody else who wishes to speak? Come on up.
Can I just ask about the height? I mean, you know, this is a 23,
Speak to the
I'm sorry,
microphone, please.
this is a 23-foot
22
high.
feet.
I mean, couldn't we consider a single story, bring it down? Okay, I mean, the variance is going, there's still going to be at least a 25-foot variance going to be required, even if he moves it up.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so at least if it's down on a first floor, one, I don't have to worry about someone becoming a tenant in the building.
Right.
Two, it becomes more of not a huge facility, but a two-car garage. And so, you know, for us, it would be more conducive of the neighborhood rather than, you know,
Yeah,
and I
less
understand that,
impact.
and I understand, you know, he needs the space. I mean, his business is his business, and so that's part of you know, what you need. But again, in a residential area like this, I really think that it might be just advantageous if it was a lower and moved.
Yep.
So,
Understood.
I have a
Okay.
question. If there were spruces there or thuja green giants that grow 40 feet high, would that help you or?
that is something that I would consider, okay? I think that it's you know, what my preference would be is not to have stockade fence or anything behind the garage, but if the spruces were there and they were such that they would grow like that, it preserves the parkside type setting, and you don't have to worry about storage behind there because it, you know,
See it.
hopefully
Then
anyway.
you're staring at trees instead of
Exactly.
back of a...
And with the lower height, it certainly would be, you know, I think, better fitting to the area. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? All right, so I think what we have to do is adjourn this public hearing because we've got to get more information. Again, you've got to justify the height of this too, because I'm still not convinced why. Can you please pass those on to Jackie for the file? All right, so I motion to adjourn this public hearing to next month.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, folks, if you don't mind, take your conversation out into the lobby. All right, item number 5, Appeal 4046, Michael Smilkstein, 26 Clove Branch, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 51-foot right sideline and 37-foot left sideline and 37 rear line variance for a ground-mounted solar panel pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
Good evening.
So we did review this last month, and given the nature of your lot, you have not a wide lot, and so you're looking to put ground-mounted solar panels on your lot, and you're following the code as you really should be, but your lot is just not wide enough.
Correct.
Anywhere you put to have the 100 feet in, you can't do it.
Correct.
And so you're proposing where they're less impactful to your neighbors, where you've got the most vegetative screening. So I can't fault you at all for this one. I think this makes perfect sense. So any comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Nothing, I'm good.
So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Michael Smilkstein, 26 Clove Branch, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 51-foot right sideline, a 37 left sideline, and a 37 rear line variance for ground-mounted solar panels? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And?
You wanna read?
And I just have a small change on both this appeal and the next appeal's decision in order. Both should say the desired result cannot be achieved by other means.
Oh, okay.
It happened on both these other two.
Okay.
Read the motion. 4446.
Here.
Okay, whereas due to the layout of the property, the applicant would
No,
need,
you have to start from appeal.
I'm sorry,
Applicant?
applicant Michael Smilstein, am I pronouncing that correct?
Stein? Okay.
Milstein?
And the
Thank
appeal
you.
number.
4046. They're requesting, or the project is a 51 right side line, 37 left side line, and 37 near line variances from the schedule of the bulk regulations for a group-mounted solar panel. This is located on 26 Clove Branch, Hopewell Junction.
Now you can just go to the whereases.
Okay. The resolution reads, whereas due to the layout of the property, the applicant would need variances to place a solar array regardless of location because of the limited width of the property. And whereas this is a type 2 action under SEQRA, and no further review is required. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on October 25th, 2022, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 19th, 2022, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variances will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood since the applicant has extensive vegetative screening around his property and intends to install a solar array in the least visible area of this property. The desired result can be achieved by other
No,
means.
cannot.
This is where the cannot.
Oh, I'm sorry. Correction, cannot be achieved by other means due to the size of the property. The variances could be deemed substantial, but they are the smallest possible variances given and the layout and width of the property. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore, it is resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request from Michael Smilstein for 51 right side line, 37 left side line, and 37 rear line variances from the schedule of bulk regulations for a group-mounted solar panel. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Second.
Second.
The votes as follows: Aziz.
Aye.
Rocco.
Aye.
Alberto.
Aye, sorry.
And myself, aye. Motion carries. Jackie, you've got that correction, right? I don't need to send this over. Okay. So you guys are all set. You just now deal with the building department, okay? Thank you. All right. Item number 6, Appeal 4047, Victor Margiotta, 6 Twin Ponds Court, Stormville is requesting a 10-foot sideline variance for a 16-foot by 18-foot or 288-square-foot gazebo pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
So, this is one where you were putting in the pool, and the contractor said, wouldn't the gazebo look good? And you said, yeah, go ahead. And my sense is that the patio only requires a 15-foot, side yard and variant setback. And the contractor was probably thinking that the gazebo was the same thing.
Correct.
And so when you realized it was a little too close to the property line, you told him to stop because you realized you probably needed something from us. So, we've looked at pictures last month around your property. What you were doing, the property was beautiful, so I don't think we really had any concerns with it. So it was just a matter, we had to hear from your neighbors to make sure that they had no concerns. So comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Good.
So is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the request from Victor Margiotta, 6 Twin Ponds Court, Stormville, requesting a 10-foot sideline variance for a 16-foot by 18-foot gazebo? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye. This is appeal number 4047. Applicant is Victor Margiotta. requesting a 10-foot sideline variance from the requirements of Schedule of Bulk Regulations for a 16 feet by 18 feet, 288 square foot gazebo. Resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Hassan, whereas the applicant is completing a series of home improvement projects, and whereas the applicant's contractor originally told him that he did not need a permit or a variance for the placement of the gazebo, and whereas after finding out that he needed a variance, the applicant ordered his contractor to stop work, and whereas the applicant now wishes to complete the gazebo project, and whereas the applicant is installing vegetative screening to minimize any visual impacts to his neighbors, and whereas this is a type 2 action under SECRA and no further review is required, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on October 22nd, 2022, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 19th, 2022, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. Since the property will remain residential in nature, the desired result cannot be achieved by any other means due to the layout of the property. The variance could be deemed substantial, but the property has a vegetative buffer between its neighbors, which screening will minimize any visual impacts. The variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request for a 10-foot sideline variance from the requirement of Schedule of Bulk Regulations for a 16 feet by 18 feet, 288 square foot gazebo. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Aziz.
Aye.
Rocco.
Aye.
Calvin.
Aye.
And myself. Aye. So your motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you for the,
Yeah, no, thank you.
thank you for the additional letter with your conversation with your neighbor so that
Good.
you resolve
Yes.
those issues with them. Again, you're doing great work out there, so.
You all set for next summer? Next spring?
All right, have a good night. Item number 7, Appeal 2216, Shenandoah Farm LLC, 270 Jackson Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting an extension on their soil mining permit for Shenandoah Farms, which was granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals on July 8, 2008, pursuant to Section 194-75 of the zoning ordinance. The permit was originally issued July 8, 2008. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
So 2008, so for the last 14 years, the permit was operated. You come back every 2 years. We have the building department go out and do an inspection. They went out recently, did an inspection. Not only were there no violations, but they said everything was operating as it should. The only change in the condition this year is the fact that next year your New York State DEC permit will be expiring. So
That's correct.
our permit cannot go beyond that. If that gets renewed, then
Right.
we're all in line there. So, comments or questions from board members?
I've been reading it for quite a few years.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with that.
All right, so is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the continuation of the Shenandoah Farms soil mining permit? Yes. If we could ask you to sit down, Mr. Jackson, thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Teresa Daly, 155 Jackson Road, Hopewell. I have absolutely no objection to the continuance of the soil mining permit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could we ask you to, though, to sign your name on the clipboard that's there, please, just so we have it for the record, and we don't want to spell it wrong or anything. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time to come. All right, so seeing no further comment, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is appeal number 2216. Applicant is Shenandoah Farm LLC, requesting a 2-year soil mining special permit renewal pursuant to Section 194-75 of the zoning ordinance. The property is located at 270 Jackson Road, Hopewell Junction. Resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Hassan, whereas the applicant was first granted a soil mining permit on July 8, 2008 pursuant to Section 194-75 of the zoning ordinance for land excavation and filling, and whereas a special permit was most recently extended through October 27, 2022, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeal held a public hearing on October 25th, 2022, and whereas a legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on October 19th, 2022, and whereas this is a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and no further action is required. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the applicant's request for a 2-year renewal for a soil mining special permit renewal pursuant to Section 194-75 of the zoning ordinance, subject to the applicant obtaining a renewal for the special permit in 2 years, and all conditions from prior decisions and orders remain in effect. In addition, the special permit shall only be effective so long as the applicant has all the required permits from the State of New York Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Aziz.
Aye.
Rocco.
Aye.
Alberto.
Aye.
And myself, aye. You're all set. Your motion carries.
See you in 2 years.
I think in the resolution, you said 270 Jackson Road should be 269.
Yeah, everything says 270 Jackson Road.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, I make a motion to correct resolution.
Second.
It's a lot of files that have to be corrected if it's all. It's
Yeah,
been
it should
that
be
way for a long
269,
time. We're continuing an existing permit, that's the bottom line,
Okay.
so.
That's the house, the main house address.
Is 270 or 269?
The house.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're okay because
It's the main residence.
Because normally an odd number would be across the street.
yeah,
Well, hold on, we have a lot number on our resolution, we're fine.
that's true.
Yeah.
We have a lot number.
And we're
We're
good.
good. All right, folks, that's the end of the public hearings. So at this point, we are on for reviews. Item number 8, I already told you, is not on. So we are, item number 9, Appeal 4048, Stuart Taub, 27 Falcon Crest Court, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 7-foot sideline variance for a 35-foot by 25-foot or 875-square-foot detached garage pursuant to the Schedule of Bulk Regulations of the zoning ordinance. Michael,
Good evening, good evening.
good evening. So by code, he's allowed a 750-square-foot or 60% of the footprint of the house, which I do not see here. Right? Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Can I start off another way? All right. So the house is kind of at the end of a small cul-de-sac. The purposes of the detached garage is for the purposes of his own, for classic cars, okay? I know we submitted, this is not a business or anything, this is his cars. We submitted some paperwork relative to the survey showing the location, and obviously that's where we came up with the offset. The reason we don't want to put it in the backyard is because it's his backyard. And that actually goes all the way back to the rail trail. So where his existing garage is, that's why we kind of placed it on the right side there, right along the edge of the pavement, and we came up with that variance. Part 2 is as part of this process, they went out, somebody from the zoning or building office, may have been yourself, went out, and there's a shed on the property. We didn't have the shed on the survey you have. We have the shed on the survey now. The shed's a 12 by 14 shed. It's on the survey I have with me, and that was actually, and it's too close to the property line, but I do have the paperwork on it. That was subject to a variance by this board, 2718.
Oh, so it's fine.
So we're good. Yeah, but it's on the plan, so you have it. Long story short, yeah, if there's a requirement to go ahead and reduce it slightly, I mean, what was it, 750 is the cutoff?
750 or 60% of the footprint of the building.
Okay, I gotta run that number.
That looks like a fairly large footprint.
It is, it's 35 by 25.
No, I'm saying the house. It's the footprint of the building.
Yes.
Of the residence.
Right, that's
So it
true.
looks like a large residence.
Yeah, so I don't know the exact square footage, I don't think it's put there, but I'll have to run that number. And hopefully we're okay, otherwise we're gonna have to reduce it.
Yeah, because otherwise it's an additional variance.
The plans also submitted as part of the building permit, which took the denial, which pushed us to here. We've made the modifications, not so much to the footprint, but again, the height is a little higher because we do want to put lifts in the garage bays for those cars. So it's actually a 14-foot height. We're still in compliance with the maximum height requirements. So I'll get those to you as part of our next step.
Have you spoken, has anybody spoken with the neighbors?
I implored Mr. and Mrs. Taub to have that discussion with them, to give them a heads up, just to get a feel for it. There is some vegetation there on their lot, on the neighbor's lot, so,
Significant vegetation or some vegetation?
not bad.
Okay.
You know,
Are the neighbors going to see this?
I would say winter-wise and stuff, yeah, you're going to see the back of the garage.
Is it their driveway side, or is it the side that probably they don't have, they won't? have-
Driveway side,
It is the driveway side,
Yeah.
so they're more likely to be,
yeah. So first thing I said, have a discussion with them.
Okay.
They have recently moved into that house, they haven't been there that long, so they haven't had the meet and greets yet, but I suggested this is probably the time, you know.
why can't you move it, it looks like an existing driveway. Why can't you move it a little bit onto the driveway? Do you need that for the turnaround? What is that?
Well, yeah, we need a minimum area for turnaround,
Right.
right? And also, we show, I think, we show an 8.8 setback right now. And going through this was with today, last-minute stuff with Mrs. Taub, we actually asked if there was the possibility of moving even further forward so it would line up directly with the home. That's actually going to increase our variance. So,
What was she thinking?
well, just to line up the front of the house
Yeah,
with the
but-
front of the garage.
That makes it more noticeable. It actually would be,
You're probably talking 4 feet, you know, further toward the road, but then that 8.8-foot variance probably ends up being more like a 6 point
Yeah.
something, you know? You know. Colors are going to be the same as the home, going to fit in that way.
and what's the, when you're, like the last one that we saw, the front, you see the 2 bays, and then you saw mostly the shingles, but you saw the 2 dormers. What's the front here? Is it the peak that you're seeing, or is it the roof?
So looking now from the house,
Right?
right, three-bay, looking from the road. It's basically that. The garage would be here, the fence would be on the side. You're not looking to move into the high profile.
Yeah, you're looking at the peak, you're looking at the high part. Is she gonna, can she break it up? Is there any vegetation she can put in front of that? What do you guys think?
You're thinking of bringing it forward, you said, by 4 to 6 feet?
She just asked today about bringing it.
Yes, they're not here. They wish they could have been here. They couldn't come here, so you get me. But she was asking if it was possibility to move it slightly further toward the front to line up basically the house and the garage. You'll see it's kind of a little bit of a kickback on the garage. You know, I'm going to wing it, say 4 feet difference. It's not a huge deal, but, you know, again, that increases the variance because it's an angled sideline.
Right.
You know,
Right, so the variance would be bigger.
right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so again, the thing is, the shed is not on this plan, and so, I mean, what I would suggest is have both those plans in front of us, and then we can, because I can't visualize what variances you would be needing, or she'd be needing, or the applicant would be looking for. So having 2 sets of plans right in front, and again, as the chair pointed out, if it can be moved closer to the, you know,
Yeah,
onto the driveway, because you've got quite a, I mean, yes, you need a turnaround radius, but if you're going to be moving it forward, then you'll have,
we're not moving it forward.
Right.
We're not moving it forward.
okay, okay, I thought you wanted to,
No.
Well, that was a request.
Okay.
But we'll take what we can get.
okay. Yeah, so again, if you, because I don't have the
Right here. Here's the new plan.
And that already has its variances, that's out of
Okay,
play.
that has, okay, that's
So we don't
good.
even have to worry about it
Okay,
because it's got.
but again, the two garages, the proposed garage and the current garage and the detached garage, I don't know what's the distance, I mean,
It's right here.
but it doesn't tell me that can't it be moved closer to the house so that it reduces.
That-
What I just asked Michael, and he explained, was you still need a turnaround. These cars are coming out this way, these cars are going in and out this way. So you need this area to be the turnaround.
That is on the edge of the pavement as we show it. Right.
Okay, but again, this proposed detached garage has 2 bays.
3.
Okay, 3 bays, okay. But then part of the third bay is basically on grass. I mean, it's right here. The blacktop is here and then so it's,
That's why they were saying about moving it up 4 feet.
so I mean, are you going to be putting a blacktop to accommodate the third bay?
Like it's a 2-bay, isn't it?
It's proposed as 3-bay. It was originally submitted as 2, we show 3. He needs 2, he said we could make it smaller, the other one, I just said just do 3-bay because we got the room. As to whether they put asphalt there, I mean, it doesn't come into play here, does it? I mean, we probably will,
I have no idea
don't
what
need a
you're looking
variance.
for.
If they want to add asphalt later on, they add asphalt
Yeah, we
later
don't
on.
need a variance for that.
That doesn't matter.
Mike, what's on the back side of it? There's a house?
So there's some vegetation, actual vegetation, and then there's the driveway for the house on the side. And I'm going to say, maybe 15 feet before the driveway, 15, 20 feet before the driveway for the other house.
Behind you?
Right.
On the,
Yeah, it's not, the driveway's not right up against the property line, it's a bit of ways off. But it is on,
that's
that's,
lot 7,
Yeah.
Walton Realty.
right,
Okay, so there's a driveway adjoining that.
right,
Okay,
yeah. The house is set back a little further than theirs.
that's what I was wondering. Okay.
I think the biggest issue is going to be what your neighbor has to say. If the neighbors, if there's enough vegetation between them and they're not concerned, then
Oh,
I mean,
thank
it looks like it's, the size of this house, the footprint, it looks like it's going to be within the character of the
That's,
neighborhood.
yeah. it's quite
It's
a-
looking toward.
Oh, did you give me pictures?
Oh, that's the aerial?
No, I've got pictures from standing on the
That's the
driveway, looking for.
Right,
lot
that's the
7.
vegetation.
You can barely see the house, but vegetation might be down in the winter.
That's what I saw.
This is the back or the side?
This is looking at the side of the house. If
Yes.
I'm looking at where the garage is going to be built, looking toward lot 7.
Okay, motion to advertise, if that's what.
Thank you.
Second.
All
I
in favor?
appreciate it.
Aye, okay.
Aye.
Michael, this plan is for Jackie.
Yeah, you want to give it to her?
Michael, can you give us a new plan when you come next time?
Jackie has it right now. She
No,
can
no,
make
yeah,
copies
this
for
way
us.
at least I see everything on one plan. Thank you.
All right,
Good night, good night.
next month. All right, item number 10, Appeal 4049, Ryan Legrady, 622 South Hillside Road, Wappingers Falls, requesting a 2-foot height variance for an 8-foot fence in a rear yard pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. All right, I heard about this one. So, you have a neighbor.
We have a neighbor,
Yeah.
yes. Yes,
So,
ma'am. I
normally
also-
a 6-foot fence would be,
I brought some additional photos, which I'm happy to share, if you'd like.
We love photos.
But let's hear the situation first.
he's looking for some additional privacy. And from the sounds of it, it looks like he needs it. So, yeah, show us the photos.
Sure, so sorry, some of them are duplicates. So some of the, I wasn't sure how much information my wife has already given because she's been hounding these poor women day in and day out. So here's a photo of what the usual bonfires in the backyard look like, height-wise.
Oh, my God.
The photo obviously does not capture the sound which is created with the accelerants used to start the bonfires.
Thank you.
My office was happy to loan me the color printer, whether they knew it or not.
So wait, where, are you in your house looking out? You're on your back deck? What is
Right
it?
now, I'm on my deck looking out, yes. And these are some photos.
Where's the fence? Can I know?
It's not there
There's
yet.
no fence, we haven't built the fence yet.
They want an 8-foot fence.
Oh, I thought it was additional 2, okay, I got you. There was an existing
No, it's
6.
over what's allowed. They're asking for 2 feet over what's allowed.
Over what's allowed, got you.
These are photos, this is a photo of the hot tub and some of the other debris in the backyard.
Entertainment, or recreation items, you know?
Yes. This is a photo of one of the 2 sheds, which my wife, I'm sorry, labeled on the plan as, quote, illegal activity.
Yeah.
She did that before she talked to me about it. So, the,
Thank you.
What's the size of your lot, do you know? 'Cause
it's less than an acre, I believe.
Yeah, Hillside Lake has smaller lots than most other places, so, because it was a summer bungalow community that essentially got converted to year-round use, so. So understanding that the lots are smaller than most places in town, you are very close to your neighbors. And so when your neighbors are engaging activities that are, you know,
There are 33, it's .344 acres.
yeah, so it's 1/3 of an acre, all right, so.
So where you're standing, I'm sorry, where you're standing taking that picture to the hot tub, what distance is that?
So if you see the wire fence there, that's the edge of our property.
Right?
The hot tub, I would say, is about maybe 10 feet from there, maybe a little less. I'm standing on my deck. When I take that picture, I'd say, if I had a ballpark it, maybe I'm 15 feet away or so.
Wait, do I see something that says 18 feet? 18 feet?
Rocco, motion to advertise.
Yeah, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will see you next month. Jackie will give you your requirements for your sign.
Okay,
We'll see you next month.
thank you very much.
No problem.
If my wife asks, will you tell her that I provided all the details that she wanted me to make sure I provided? Because I'll be in big trouble if I don't.
You're good.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
She can watch it on TV tomorrow.
Right now.
It'll be on YouTube.
Oh, God. All right, okay. Item number 11, last but not least. Keisha Duncan, 174 Woodmont Road, Hopewell Junction, requesting a 75-foot sideline variance for a 28-foot by 26-foot or 728-square-foot two-story garage or storage addition pursuant to the schedule of bulk regulations of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, first time we're seeing your application. If you don't mind, just tell us, what are you looking for? Do you have an existing garage at your house now? You do not? Okay.
May I?
Sure.
Thank you.
So our house right now is just one floor. We have a basement, and then on the top are the bedrooms.
Okay.
I need a garage and a living room as well as a kitchen because the existing kitchen is in the basement. And
Kitchen is in a basement?
Yeah.
Is the basement at ground level?
it's walkout, like a
Okay,
part of it is under.
Okay.
And then, yeah. So it's an unfinished house, so we need to build like a proper living space as well as a proper kitchen.
Okay.
So right now, I'm asking to build the two-car garage with the living space on top.
Okay.
And then later on, we'll add the kitchen and
It appears that the living spaces aren't going to connect unless you're building stairs into the addition.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yes. there's going to be,
You've got a topography change there. You've got, the ground itself is at different levels.
Exactly.
So that's where I see where part of your basement or fourth floor is actually underground, okay? Because part of it's ground level and walkout, but the rest of it, so it's making where the garage start at a higher level than where the existing is. And so what it means is the second story is not meeting up nicely,
exactly.
but you'll make it meet up. So are you proposing additional bedrooms? What is the additional space upstairs to be used for?
Living space, my official living, TV room.
Okay, so
Yeah.
family room,
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right. Where's your septic?
It is in the front, like, maybe 100 feet from the house, or 75.
Okay, so again, a typical two-car garage would be 24 by 24, so you're at 28 by 26, so you're not, that's providing just a little bit of extra storage, which is fine.
Yeah.
The only problem is that that additional side, which is the 28 feet? Where's your application?
The 28 is across the front and rear.
That's across the front?
Across the front.
What is this supposed to be a 30-foot variance because it's a 2-acre?
It's R3 zone.
So 3-acre, and so the side yard
30 feet.
setback is 30 feet. Okay, so that's why she's requesting, she's not on the property line with the 25-foot variance, but she's 5 feet in. So the question becomes, if the 28 feet is that direction, have you spoken to your neighbors about this?
Yes.
Are they supportive of it? They're okay with it?
Yes.
Okay. 'Cause otherwise, you might have to shrink that 28 feet in a little bit to get it a little bit further away from their house.
Yes, they
Their property.
agreed to submit letters whenever you guys request them.
Okay, all right. As long as they're in support of it, is there vegetation on that side? Is there any kind of screening to?
Lots.
Lots, okay. That helps.
Yeah, you're pretty much
Yeah.
isolated on that side.
And her house is, what, 300, 200 feet away from?
Oh, wow, okay.
It's very far, yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
Motion to advertise?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will see you next month.
Okay. What's my job now?
Jackie will tell you what you gotta do to post your signs.
Motion to
Motion adjourned.
adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.